Hello, Boston Bruins fans. We are pleased to welcome you to our news channel dedicated to providing up-to-date and reliable information about the Boston Bruins. Our mission is to share high-quality, truthful news with our valued audience. Be sure to follow the latest and most up-to-date news about the Boston Bruins, which is published daily here. To always stay informed, we invite everyone to subscribe to our channel. From the team's founding, through 3 Stanley Cups, to Oria's debut, the initial 3 decades of the Boston Bruins' history laid the team's foundation. Boston, it was here that the journey began. Nearly a century ago, the Boston Bruins made their triumphant entry as the pioneering American franchise into the National Hockey League. Over the more than 30 inaugural years of this institution, countless crucial moments contributed to the forging of the team's destiny. Here are some of the most significant moments in the Bruins saga from 1924 to 1959. November 1, 1924. Charles Adams acquires first U.S. franchise in NHL history. The supermarket magnate secured his entry into the Boston NHL by shelling out $15,000. He chose to name the team Bruins, a choice that alludes to ferocity and tenacity. The team's primary colors, brown and gold, were carefully selected to match the theme of their stores. December 1, 1924, the Bruins play in their historic inaugural game. The Boston Bruins' inaugural match was against the Montreal Maroons at the Boston Arena, culminating in a 2-1 victory. This victory was achieved thanks to goals from Smokey Harris and Carson Cooper. Heck Fowler secured the triumph with the goal. However, the Bruins struggled in the subsequent 12 games and finished in last place. August 20, 1926, the acquisition of Eddie Shore from Edmonton from the WHL. The team's first true star landed in Boston before the 1926-27 season, when the rights to the talented 24-year-old defenseman were acquired from Edmonton of the Western Hockey League. Bruins owner Charles Adams spent $20,000 to the WHL to secure Shore's services. On November 16, 1926, the Edmonton Express got ready for their opening game with the Bruins against the Montreal Canadiens. November 20, 1928, the Bruins play their first game at Boston Garden. After 4 seasons at Boston Arena, now known as Northeast Matthews Arena, the Bruins moved across town. This occurred after Charles Adams opted to end paying rent, entering into a partnership with boxing promoter Tex Rickard to build his own building on Causeway Street in Boston's West End. Construction began in December 1927 and, just over a year later, approximately 17,000 spectators attended the new Boston Garden to witness the match between the Bruins and the Canadiens, which ended in a 1-0 defeat. According to the report in Boston Bruins, celebrating 75 years, a late goal by Dick Clapper was disallowed by the referees, resulting in protests from fans, who threw debris onto the ice. March 29, 1929, the Bruins win their first Stanley Cup. The Bruins allowed just 52 goals in 44 games during the regular season and led the NHL in wins, achieving 26 victories. This was made possible by an impenetrable defense of Shore and Lionel Hitchman, as well as Tiny Thompson's fearless performance in goal. In the postseason, the Boston Bruins beat the Canadiens in 3 consecutive games, with Cooney Weiland scoring the winning goal in the first 2 games, both 1-0, thanks to Thompson's support. Game 3 was marked by intense disputes, and Shore scored the decisive goal. The first Stanley Cup final held at the Boston Garden, which was also the first to feature two American teams, culminated in the title for the Bruins, who won the best-of-3 championship series. In the first game, Boston emerged victorious 2-0, with goals from Clapper and Dutch Gaynor. In the second game, Bill Carson, a part-time dentist, secured the victory with a goal with 1:58 remaining, securing the score 2-1. Harry Oliver, scorer of the first goal of the match, also contributed to the victory, while Thompson remained secure in goal. April 2, 1939, Mel Sudden Death Hill gets her epithet. The forward scored a decisive goal at 8 o'clock in the third overtime, giving the Bruins a 2-1 victory in the seventh game of the Stanley Cup semifinal series. This series is considered one of the most memorable in the history of the playoffs. This was Hill's third goal during overtime of the series, earning him the epithet Mel Sudden Death Hill. In the first game, Hill scored on an assist from Bill Cowley in the final seconds of the third overtime, ending the game around 1 o'clock. Cowley repeated the assist for Hill in overtime of the second game. Boston also won the third game, although the Rangers rallied and forced a decisive seventh game. April 16, 1939, the Bruins win their second Stanley Cup. The regular season began with Eddie Shore facing a contract dispute and Tiny Thompson being traded to Detroit, which generated discontent among fans and teammates. However, for Boston, the situation took a positive turn when Art Ross became the team's coach. Frank Brimsek, an American, took over in goal and, with 10 losses for the season, became the first player to win both the Calder and Vezina trophies in the same season. The Bruins, led by Brimsek, the Kraut line, consisting of Milt Schmidt, Bobby Bauer and Woody Dumart, as well as a second-line trio of Bill Cowley, Roy Conacher and Hill, finished the regular season with an impressive 36-10 record. Please enjoy this video now, as it plays a crucial role in ensuring you don't miss any important news related to the Boston Bruins. We'll be sharing updates constantly on this channel, so stay tuned. Thank you in advance for your continued support. And now, continuing with the information. Boston won its second Stanley Cup in 1941, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1 in Game 5. The highlights of the match were Hill, Conacher, with a goal and an assist, and Flash Hollett, who scored for Boston. Brimsek was the winning goalkeeper, and Cowley contributed 2 assists. Additionally, this game marked the last of Cooney Weiland's Hall of Fame career. That same year, the Bruins finished the regular season in first place, with Cowley winning his first of 2 Hart trophies and Bauer receiving the Lady Byng. They won their second Stanley Cup in 3 seasons, beating the Detroit Red Wings 3-1 in a 4-game series. Despite an early 1-0 deficit, the Bruins scored 3 unanswered goals from Hollett, Bauer and Eddie Wiseman. Schmidt had 2 assists, and Brimsek again secured the victory with the goal. In 1942, before serving in World War II, the Kraut line, Bauer, Dumart and Schmidt, had a hero's farewell after beating the Canadiens 8-1. They became known as the Kitchener Kids and left to serve in the Royal Canadian Air Force. The team and management presented the trio with gold watches and checks to cover their salaries, while their teammates gave them gold bracelets. Other notable events include Willie Ori's NHL debut in 1958, when he became the first black player in league history, and Eddie Shore winning 4 Hart trophies in 1933, 1935, 1936 and 1938. Schmidt also led the NHL in points in the 1939-40 season. In 1954, Schmidt took over as head coach of the Boston Bruins after retiring. It's a joy to have you here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments so that we can together enrich our knowledge of Boston through this channel. We believe that sharing knowledge is essential, and it would be amazing if you became a subscriber to our channel, helping us reach an even wider audience. With your collaboration, we are even more motivated to publish videos daily and keep you updated. By subscribing, you will receive notifications whenever a new video is published. Thank you so much for your support.